Welcome to my man cave.
So what is this here?
This is my latest contraption. It's something what I've been wanting to build for like 40 years.
Back in 1980, actually, is when the California commuter came out and it achieved 155 miles per gallon. I thought that was pretty cool. He had a little Honda 90 he upgraded to 110. And yeah, he's only going 55 miles an hour, but pretty cool. And then that same year, the Vector came out with the vehicle that actually broke and took the $10,000 purse, I believe, from the IHPVA Association, and that was for anybody who could go over 55 miles an hour, pedaling only. I liked the two, but I didn't like the looks of the California commuter. I liked the Vector. So for years, I was playing around with all types of iterations. I just didn't have the nerve to, I just didn't feel I had the skill to create front ends and whatnot for a vehicle that could go on the road. Now, during these years, I'd built several recumbent bikes, and it wasn't until 2000 that I started building some vehicles for Burning Man with motors. I was gifted a Honda 350, and I built my first trike. It was a little too big and not exactly what I wanted, but it gave me a lot of experience, and didn't do anything for a while until later on I read about Craig Vetter. He had a mileage competition going on. Read about this guy here. He had a Yamaha 185, got about 372 miles per gallon. So I went out and found a Yamaha 185 1981 with just about 2,000 miles on it. Proceeded to make my second attempt. Didn't quite get that far. I chickened out. But it wasn't until a few years ago that I decided, okay, let's do this right. I was kind of winging it as I went and tried a lot of different things for steering, suspension, oh, you name it. In the end, about 9 months later, I came up with what we got here.
Gets about 87 miles per gallon. And that was the idea, is to see the minimalist size of a vehicle to transport somebody back and forth to work, still carry your lunch and whatever for groceries. If you want, I can even go on a little test drive. It's kind of fun. There's a little trunk back here. The body's made of coroplast. That's a temporary gas tank just to do my test. But you can throw stuff back here. When you're talking about doing a vehicle that's going to try to achieve high miles, it's a compromise between a motorcycle and a car. You don't have a lot of protection. I've got these for crash bars, roll protections. There's a little protection there, not much. If you flip, you'll probably survive no problem. But if you get hit, you're light, you'll probably be the loser. It's kind of an island hopper. Yeah, just around here, and the maximum speed limit is like 50 miles an hour. I've got it up to 63, and that was good enough. Like I say, it's got a little motor in it, a little Yamaha 185. That's a 40-year-old motor. I just happened to find it with 1,200 miles on it about 10 years ago, and it's been sitting and waiting for me to do something.
So this project is like a long time in the making.
Oh, totally. Very basic. It's not polished. This is just mild steel. It's a very inexpensive prototype. I think I only have maybe 4,000 into the whole thing, including the cost of the bike. This is something that they're not doing now. They're not making vehicles teardrop like they should be. They say about 80% of your energy at about 18 miles an hour is fighting the wind. You see a semi or a bus with a flat nose, they're pushing a lot of wind and they're paying a lot of gas just to go forward.
That's a nice brake, actually. Those brakes are nice, disc brakes.
but I have the two front brakes work on a pedal up here, and then this is the rear brake here. So yeah, this is steering.
So that's the turn, huh?
Yeah, and then the suspension is really simple.
Yeah.
And so you can go on this, it really takes the sideways lean when you go into a turn.
Yeah.
But it's not independent suspension, so if you hit one bump, the whole car kind of clunks to one side. What I'd like to do is lengthen it probably 6-4 inches, and that'll give me a little more stability at higher speeds.
How realistic do you think that this could be something that people would use, or at some level, at some iteration of this?
Very. Obviously, be better if it had like a fiberglass body. I wanted to use the fluted plastic because I've used it so much and I know what it can take. Because it's art, it takes on, you would think it's going to fall apart, but it doesn't. It stays strong. It doesn't flex at all. So I wanted to be able to use straight flat panels to be able to come up with as teardrop of a shape as I could. And that's why you see the shape the way it is.
So the idea for this is that if you were to make this into something more scalable, you would go to fiberglass.
Oh yeah, you totally change the whole thing, but keep the teardrop shape. This is just a real rough rendition of what could truly be something that you might see in a showroom someday. I'd like to think so.
And my fender fell off on the right. Got to re-weld that back on. Still for 185, it's got some poof. Well, it's still a fun ride. I still need to work on the brakes and probably putting in another new underbelly pan, a little more substantial. That would be good, and a couple other little things that I've noticed. I put the original muffler back on, so now it's not as loud. That's nice. So there's my pan looking inside. I think we should freshen it up with a new sheet. And here's a sheet that goes on the front. That'll be replaced too. And this is after a lot of pondering, is I'm going to take this swing arm out and extend it about maybe 4 to 6 inches. That hopefully will give me better handling at high speeds. There she is. So I'll be cutting these here and do an extension there. Yeah. Hate to ruin that. That was fun to make. And I'm just now looking forward to aligning this all up again. But, well, got it slapped together. Everything is aligned. This came in a little bit, but I think I can add some braces from here to here to strengthen it up, and it'll work. Well, I got my fork on here, but when I put the wheel on and put it to the test, the whole rear end was very springy, so I need to adjust the tension on this coil spring. Unfortunately, like an idiot, I made it almost impossible to take this shock out. This is an old ratchet strap. I'm going to grind this off and just put a pin in here. Now I'll go ahead and cut this off here, so it's this strap can then hook onto there. Pretty cool, huh? I'm going to make another one so I have equal pressure on both sides. I ratcheted them both at the same time, and it collapsed at about 3/4 of an inch. Now I can easily set my adjustment. So this was kind of a refined idea of something that I saw on YouTube. This worked great though, and I think I could still use these as regular straps if need be. I'm going to warn you, if you do try this method though, just be warned that although this ratchet tightens incrementally, when you loosen this, it lets go of the pressure all at once. Well, after moving the wheel back so far, I've decided it's changing everything. So once I added 6 inches length to this, I had to add 6 inches to this, and then to this. Got a new fender in there anyway. It's all working out pretty good. Well, I got in a new floor pan. While I was at it, I fixed my Flintstone reverse to where kept it from flopping up when I got going at high speed, adding this weight to it. That works out pretty good. Not beautiful, but hey, it works. So I decided to tear into the front brakes. These were always making me wander into the oncoming traffic. So originally, I've been using this guy. This got off Amazon. It's made for a cart, which has 3 ports, 2 for the front brakes and 1 for a disc brake for the main shaft for like a quad or whatever. In the past, I had the lines coming off using both pistons, thinking that would work. Didn't. So now I'm just going to put them on 1 piston. Hopefully that'll be enough pressure to give me brakes. So this is a new master cylinder. Yeah, a lot bigger than the old one that I had. It's just a single port, so I had to add a splitter where 2 lines can go into the 1 port. And it's working pretty good. Also added these side lights. Those are working out pretty good. Got some on the back too. Break time. So I've been driving around my old stomping grounds here in Stanwood. I love coming back, sitting by the Still-Squamish River, chilling out. These country roads go on both sides of the valley. The Still-Squamish Valley are just farmland, so you can just cruise for a long ways without really encountering any traffic. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I had to modify this skirt a little bit. Got a little too close to the tailpipe. See it wrinkling there, but it works. I like it. This also gives me easier access to the rear tire, but not as aerodynamic as I would like. But anyway, for aerodynamics, I added a solid front here. I replaced the screen, and for the fenders, I added just some little tabs to reinforce those a little bit. Well, the extended rear fork is working out great. It added an extra 6 inches to my wheelbase. Yeah, it seems to be handling a lot better at higher speeds. Can get a little more comfortable going around 55 miles an hour. 60, I'm kind of hanging tight, especially when I hit bumps and the wind kind of catches me. Still, fun ride. No challenge for these guys though. If I get hit one of those, I'm like a squashed bug. That'll work.